When you,
Hey,
yeah.
see, that's why we're the dream team.
We
Okay.
have a role to play. Yeah.
So let me just jump into it. Welcome
Who
back to
who
the
who who was that lady, by the way, who
which
said who said it's recording?
I want to know. She sounds very alluring. She sounds like she has a lot to say. I think
Yeah,
after this podcast, we should go and find her and see
of course, of course,
what
of
wisdom
course.
she has to
So,
give to.
and I love your tilak, by the way. It's
Thank you.
red hot. Yeah.
No, well, actually, it's the whole Tripundra, but
Oh, oh, okay.
my brand because what I want to do is I want to really make it clear to people that it's going to be something very
True,
modern. It's not going to
true.
be the old-fashioned, big
Yeah,
belly,
yeah, 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 yeah.
Pandit and
Like
Swami
Sadhguru,
and or
like
yeah,
Sadhguru.
yeah, with the
Yeah.
big beard and the stuff, looking like a Muslim person and stuff. Like, nah, babe, I'm not.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm not about all that.
Yeah, yeah.
So, welcome back to the Hinduism 108 podcast. I'm your host, Ganesh, and today I'm overjoyed to introduce Swami Trishul, who was a large player in the corporate world in India, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
dealing with startups and incubators for many decades in the corporate space, similar to me. And then one day, boom, like a lightning
Yep.
he had a spiritual awakening.
Yeah.
And personally, brother, I feel like there's something in the air these last couple of years because I had a very
Hmm.
similar situation. It wasn't a gradual change, it was like a lightning
Hmm.
bolt. It's like
Hmm.
Mahadeva just took my head and turned it around in the other direction to say, I know you were doing this the corporate, whatever you need from corporate, I will take care of it now. You don't stress about it, but you just focus
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
spiritual.
Yeah.
So and I
Thank
have
you for
this
inviting me, Ganesh. Thank you for inviting me. And I really appreciate it. And I really respect you and I love you really.
I love you too, Swamiji, and it's been such
Yeah.
a blessing to be
Yeah.
connected with
Yeah.
a kindred spirit because I could say I've been doing this journey almost alone for a couple of years, and I was just going on the faith of Mahadev that everything would come together, and I think
Yeah.
having run into you, who is finally someone who's spiritually awakened, a modern Swami who understands modern things and modern problems and how to connect them has been a tremendous blessing. So I too am eminently grateful for you to be here.
Okay, but
So
yeah.
one of the things that I wanted to talk about first is the fact that I think the when the British Empire spent how long were they in India? Well, hundreds of years or just decades?
They are just 100 years, maybe couple of centuries,
Yeah,
maybe 300 years. Yeah.
300. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think my opinion is that during that time, they destroyed a lot of the culture of the Sanatan Dharma and what it was really meant to be. Because um, in our culture, we have the four goals of life: dharma, your duty; artha, prosperity;
Mhm.
kama, pleasure, which includes both loving pleasure, wholesome, but also the sexual, carnal part. And then moksha, of course, liberation. And those things were always natural in our culture. Even if you look at the temples and stuff, you see people fornicating and naked or whatever. Like, we never had any shame or any like onus
Yeah.
associated with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Furthermore, I don't think a lot of people understand the true nature of Shaivism and iconography of Lord Shiva Shankara when he was here on Earth, on
Hmm.
Loka, because people who are sattvic, they
Hmm.
should go to Narayan and Lakshmi.
Yeah.
But those
Yeah.
of us who are the bad boys and girls and we have more Tamil,
Yeah. Yeah.
we are the Shiv Shakti crew. And
Yeah.
it's very different. And I think in the British Empire, they tried to take all of these things and wrap it into one, thing that kind of aligns with their Christian methodology.
Hmm.
So in this role now, even though we're doing something new, I know that in many cases I haven't been accepted by the old guard because, you know, I drink and I like to have fun, and of course I'm doing a couple things with a few ladies and this and that, and I don't feel anything. wrong about it. I don't think that I actually feel like Shankara is pushing us in that direction. And I think if people really actually go and read the Puranas and stuff, they will see this guy was a wild man. He was killing up and shooting up everybody at the drop of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean? He was not
Yeah,
so this calm, benevolent, like whatever all the time. And he was drinking up a storm and smoking up a storm. But the thing is, the difference with him that I think that we always have to emphasize is that he can do it because he has the control. Like, if he drinks or he does some bang or
yeah.
something, he will always have the mastery, the control, the perception. And I think that that's what we should aspire to. And of course, he was hanging out in the cremation grounds and he give boons to devas, he gave boons to the gods, but he also gave boons to the demons. Good and bad means nothing to him. He could not care less, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why when people come to me as a Shaivite and say, "Oh, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that," it's like, you know what, man?
Yeah, he accept everything,
Yeah,
anything and everything.
yeah. So when we talk about especially having relations and reproduction, I think one of the most pernicious things in our faith, and I think this was maybe a carryover from Catholicism or whatever, is that they don't want sannyasis and sadhus who are, really, really going down the Swami path to be having relations. And I don't think that's correct because even the Shiva Samhita itself, in the last border of the book, he does encourage relationships, and carnal relationships is a way to boost yourself to the transcendental ecstasy. That's number one. Number two, even Swami Yogananda's guru's guru, Swami Yogananda's guru was Swami Yukteswar, and Yukteswar's guru was Lahiri Mahasya. And Lahiri Mahasya, he had a whole family and a job, and he was a
Of
Swami when
course,
he came home.
of course.
And
They
so
were the
the most
yeah.
respected, the most revered, the most everything. So when people come to me and say, "Oh, you shouldn't be dealing with people who have a family," I'm like, man, maybe go read a book and then come back to me,
Nice, nice.
because I think the British really did a lot of damage. So,
You just throw Trishul to them,
yeah,
right?
oh, I will believe it. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so of course, you can't just help with spirituality without rooting into the material aspect of life, you know. So because if you do not nourish your roots, you can't help, you can't go in the deeper dimensions of life, right? So when you talk about that, why sadhus are isolated and segregated into the ashrams, like in Isha Foundation, we already see they just cover up their whole body and just shower in the kund, right, and take a healthy diet so that they can help in which can help in their sadhana, right? Sadhana of life, what we say, that has a different uh, significance, right? That has a different significance because when you are really into Kriya Sadhana, Kriya Yoga, you need that sort of discipline, right? Because you have to make sure that your tendencies of the mental and the physical aspect of life
Hmm.
don't interfere in your sadhana, right? And that helps actually, because when you put the tilak and when you wear yellow cloth and orange cloth, it actually let not interfere your energy with the other people, which actually happens in the grahastha. So that is the atmosphere, that is the committed atmosphere which yogis create only because they understand the deeper dimensions of life.
Hmm.
Right. So so that is okay. If you are into the path of Kriya Yoga, that is well suited. And then when you are into the karma, if Guru tells you that you have a karma yoga, right? So then of course you have to be aligned with what you are doing passionately,
Hmm.
right? That is path of karma,
Hmm.
right? then you have to give your 100% like you are doing right now. You're committed to your path, right? You're doing passionately things. However, there are things which goes not aligned with the situation, because you have your own limitations which is related to your physical and the mental. Sometimes there are no clarity around that space. So of course you need that clarity, and that's the role of the Adi Guru or Adi Yogi, we say, or maybe simply Yogi, which tells that yes, bro, you can do it, because I know I have been through, I have already traveled this path before. Now you can trust on me and you can lay down your own path, but I'll just put some light upon that. I'm not gonna teach you anything. I'll just give you a lamp, right? So that you can walk your own path. So there are four aspects of yoga which actually gurus tells to the seekers. Not seekers. The seekers doesn't know it at the first place. Guru tells them, because of course you can tell the path only when you travel it. If you don't know, if you haven't never been to the terrains which you have never explored, how would you crave the path? How will you do it? Of course, everyone has the different path, but Guru will tell you, because at the end, at the destination, all four paths will go into one. That is yoga. So of course, Guru knows which path is that, which path suits you, which is your path, right? So the quickest way to reach yourself is devotion, which is about bhakti. And it is the hardest path, because you have to really put yourself aside. So that is about that. And that is really about self-realization, which are very rare people who does this, because it takes many lifetimes to reach to that point, right? Takes many lifetimes. Like Shiva is one of that. Right, Shiva, when it comes in the form of Shankar, right, that is Adya, right? So that comes like Shiva, 1,000 years waiting for his wife, right? So that is real sadhana. Like you can't just meet any woman, bro. You can't meet any woman, or even if you met a woman, she will torture you, of course, because you both have limitations, and people are suffering it already.
Oh yeah.
Especially in the Western countries, because they have mismatched, and they are like fuse bulbs
Yeah.
who are trying to mate and create some light, which doesn't work.
They're already fused out.
So that is the yeah, that is the thing associated with the sadhana, like you said, and you explained it very beautifully also. So I just created as extension of it, right? And also I just want to add something more, which you have said that Bharat is the oldest civilization, right? 5,000 years, maybe more, right? Right from the times of Buddha, when he walked upon the land, right? So Bharat right now, since a very long time, is behaving like a temple for the whole planet. And when I say that, I really mean it, because Bharat is designed like a temple by our yogis consciously. So all the seven chakras in Bharat working. And every time a new yogi comes up, it just do it. Right. Right now Sadhguru is doing it. Maybe I'll rise and I'll continue the work, because we respect each other. And when we respect each other, when the other yogi is speaking, we don't. We go, we shut up and we listen to that person, because we respect him. And that's why I told you that I don't say I of course you don't have that necessary awareness to respect Sadhguru, but I have it. So
I
so,
don't.
so yeah,
I definitely don't.
yeah. So I understand him what he is doing. And I recently understood how the fuck India, who the fuck is managing?
Although can I jump in with something?
Sure, 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 sure.
Because although, I'm sometimes a little too sharp-tongued regarding the man, just because,
Yeah, yeah,
I see his things coming everywhere all the time, whatever, and
I
it doesn't
respect.
resonate for me, especially as an American,
Yeah, yeah,
because, in America here, we had 9/11 and we had Osama bin Laden and all these
yeah,
people.
yeah,
And this is how the guy was looking with this
yeah.
big fucking turban thing and this long beard. And
Lol.
if you're trying to be a Swami and a Sanatana, we don't look like that, man. If you're bald, just be bald, man. I don't give a fuck. It's just nature. You know what I mean? Trim your beard a
Thank
little
you for
bit and
saying it.
be presentable a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of shit? And I don't like the fact that he doesn't give a goddamn straight answer when people ask him a question. He'll be like, "Oh, well, this and that and like, man, shut your ass up. If you don't know, just be quiet and just
Yeah,
move on
yeah,
to the
yeah,
next
yeah.
question."
I
I don't
understood that.
appreciate that thing. But that said, it sounds a little harsh in isolation, but at the same time, I also do have a lot of love and respect for him
Mhm.
because he is doing tremendous work.
Yeah,
At the ground level for the soil on Earth, and I'm 100% supportive of what he's doing for with the soil,
yeah.
and I understand that and I believe that, and he's genuinely doing a lot of good works. Like
Mm.
I always sometimes think about because I in my younger days I used to be a little bit more of a bad boy. Now I'm a bad man, but I try to keep it to a certain level. But I always used to feel for, the people that are in prison and stuff like that, because sometimes people make mistakes when they're young, right? They get hot-headed and they don't know any better, and then they have a criminal record, and then they can't find employment. They're just like they're cursed for life. And I don't think that's the way it should be. I think especially if they were 13, 14, 15 when it happened,
Mm.
people should to take them out and reintegrate them and educate them. And we're also learning that a lot of criminal behavior is just due to imbalances in the brain and stuff. And they can do procedures into people now so that it will change them from being not criminally disposed, but
Yeah,
more, lovingly disposed or
yeah,
at least or at
yeah.
least neutral.
Mm.
So I always feel for those people because we're all souls on the earth here together. And
Yeah,
I feel like in the world, people love because maybe they're unhappy with their own life. They like to project that onto people who ever have a criminal record, like, oh, they deserve the worst and whatever. They don't
yeah,
have a sense of unity with every other human being.
yeah,
Um, so I love the work that Sadhguru does when he goes into the prisons and he teaches people and he tries to, whoever's coming out, try to reduce recidivism, get them into a job where they can support themselves and educate them so they have some skills. I think that's one of the most beautiful, beautiful things you can do in this world. That's number two. And then number three, because I love my Mahadeva so much, he is talking about Lord Shiva all the time, everywhere, and promoting his name. And so for that, I'm eternally grateful because he has such a large organization and a reach to do so. Um, and this is more of just a joking thing, but I don't like the face he put on the
Mm.
statue there because that's more of like a South Indian face and stuff. And we know Baba
Yeah,
Bole is very, very handsome. Any
yeah.
Purana, any story you read, they say, "Oh, look
Mm.
at my Satyam Shiva
Right, right, right.
Sundara."
I understand what you mean. Yeah.
So that's why I always get upset when I see people portraying him in the wrong way. But it's not really like I'm really angry. It's just like the love of a child, who loves his father.
Mm,
That's it.
mm, mm.
It's not so serious.
I understand what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
You had further things to say on that?
Yeah. I wanted to touch on this aspect of Bharat, that it is the oldest civilization and it is working as a temple for rest of the world. And when you say that one is that Christianity and another is this mountains and this another other aspects of religions which people have created by themselves. Nobody has told me to. made those, but they did it after guru dies. They make a religion about it, right? So that's the main issue, because this is similar to what happens when see, this is again, they are the limbs, hands of this intellect, right? Buddhi. When you have this extension of buddhi, you create religions, just like AI, artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is our extension of intellect, right? So when we add ism to anything, and I really mean it with the Hinduism also. I really mean it. Hinduism, there is nothing like Hinduism. It's Hindu or Hindustan, you can say, because it is more about demography, right? It is not any verb or noun, it has a meaning. Even Bharat has a meaning, Hindustan has a meaning, Muslim has no meaning, Christianity has no meaning. You just
I
use
don't
it.
like the ops, baby.
Yeah, Jainism, fuck, doesn't mean anything. And what else? I don't even remember them. What?
They're irrelevant. I never liked them
And
anyway.
Hindu, everyone remember Hindustan, Bharat, India. They remember it. Why? Because it is the oldest civilization. How can you forget the roots? So that is the main thing. So that is why I say that when intellect as a limb, as an extension, is always limited, always. And whenever you deal with something limited, you get friction, because life is infinite. And when you don't get tuned with life, you do bullshit like Christianity,
Hmm,
Muslims, and all.
hmm.
Even Hinduism is really exploited right now because they are not connecting material and spirituality together. They are trying to be more Western culture, so they have the influence, which I'm gonna change soon, of course, because I'm gonna uh, tell them that you're not in tune with Bharat, because Bharat is not like that, right? So but it has to be in a very balanced way, because if I go with the kind of style of Bhairav, then they're gonna hurt, they're gonna burn themselves, like IIT Baba we have here, right? There are many Bhairavs I have seen met. So Bhairav is a state where you have a imbalanced energy, because you're not tuned with your Shakti, rooted with your Shakti. And when you are not rooted with your Shakti, Shiva is Shava without Shakti. And when there is no Shiva, there is no Krishna.
Hmm.
So they are all are linked to each other. So Shakti is the foundation. If you don't have Shakti, forget. Don't go to war. Don't go to job. Don't do business. Of
No,
course. How
it's
would
so
you do
true.
that?
It,
Yeah.
it, it reminds me of that story about some
Hmm.
Swami or some sage called Bibi or Bibu or something. He had some cute name like that or whatever. And he only wanted to go to Lord Shiva and pray to Lord Shiva exclusively, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And he went very high and he got to the very end. And then Mahadev was sitting there next to Parvati Ji,
Hmm.
and he just completely wanted to ignore Parvati Ji and go straight to the Mahadeva, right? And
Hmm.
then, but Mahadeva was in his trance or whatever. So
Hmm.
Parvati said, "Hey, Bibu, come over here. You know you're supposed to pay, you're supposed to pay your respects to me first before you go to
Yeah.
the Mahadeva."
Yeah.
And he said, "No,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. I only like my Mahadeva. I'm only going to go here."
Yeah.
So she said, "No,
Right.
that's
Right.
incorrect, but try it and see what happens, right?"
Yeah.
So he tried to go back to the Mahadeva, and what happened? Parvati and Mahadev joined into the Ardhaneshwara form.
Hmm.
And so it became difficult for him to penetrate. So then he transformed himself into a bee, and he tried to pierce a hole into the middle of the Ardhaneshwara to only get the Shiva side. And after that happened, Bholenath started to slowly open all three eyes, and it was terrifying. It just he was like, "Oh, no, 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 Parvati." And to me, that story was a microcosm of the fact that, some people are meant to skip early, and some people are meant to do the whole samsara because we have duties and stuff, especially like for you and me, we have duties not really to ourselves anymore, but to the world. So if you don't carry it out, then
Yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah.
not really doing your dharma.
There
So
are no shortcuts in life.
no, no, but thankfully,
And Bhairav has a role, and I know what role does he has. And every creature on planet, even small ants have a role, right? So why not Bhairav? Of course.
yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, please.
No, so Swamiji, I think this was a wonderful first session. I think it actually went really well. I was thinking it was just going to be a test session, but I think once we get this cleaned up, I'm just going to send it out there
Shoot up, yeah, shoot up.
because it's so wonderful. And honestly, even when we're arguing, I'm happy to be talking to you and arguing,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
laughing, joking, anything.
yeah,
I'm happy.
yeah, yeah. This is the beginning of new age. Yeah.
Yes, yes, and it's such a wonderful thing.
And call
So
your gang also sometimes.
yeah,
The
yeah, yeah,
elite, the elite, yeah, the elite ones.
yeah, yeah. So so we will so after this and I can edit the stuff out. I'm gonna work with Shiv and some of these folks to edit everything up, clean it up. It might take a week, 2 weeks because I told you I have some more corporate projects. I'm
Yeah, take your time, take your time.
but I'll keep you posted on how
You're already doing good.
yeah,
And I
and just
love your outfits and the mala you are wearing, and especially your wristwatch and the whole space and that person. Who is that? Bruce Lee?
This is Jean-Claude Van Damme from
Oh,
the
brother, shit,
Bloodsport. So
bloodshed.
so this was a very inspiring movie for me because as
Hmm.
a kid because I grew up bang bang banging in the hood. That's why I can't really relate to Duncan and these people at all because first of all being our bloodline and everything like that, I would never go and beg or ask anybody for anything. I would go and die first before that happened. So when I hear somebody talk, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking? And plus, I used, I was dirt poor, but I had to really grind my ass and work hard, hard, hard for every red cent I ever had. And I'm sure your story is the same. So, of course, in that journey, you have many bloody battles and difficulties and inner wars and outer wars. And this movie, Bloodsport, is such a tremendous movie about the power of self-discipline
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and aligning yourself with the right teachers and the right things so that you can slowly develop your
Right.
inner strength and you can sit in the suffering. You can sit in the pain and no longer be scared of it. You can be perfectly calm and just be focused on your goal and move forward. So that's why I always keep it up there. It's a reminder of that principle for me.
Yeah, love your space. Love your space.
Thank you. Okay, until next time,
Yeah,
Baba. I love you
yeah.
and we'll
See you.
talk soon.
Bye bye. Namaste.